appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
It's a beautiful Sunday evening here in Lagos. Good evening and thank you for joining us on CoreTV Primetime News. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. In our major story, the All Progressives Congress says it has not met to pick a running mate for its presidential flag bearer, Muhammadu Buhari. Also in this program, the APC in Ekiti State says the recent verbal attacks on former President Obasanjo by Governor Ayodele Fayose and his aides is personal and has nothing to do with the state. Kwara PDP governorship candidate Simeon Ajibola describes protesters against his candidature as enemies of his party. Outside Nigeria, delegates reach agreement on a framework for a deal on limiting the effects of climate change at conference in Peru. As speculations grow on who will emerge as the running mate of its presidential candidate, Muhammadu Buhari, the All Progressives Congress has assured Nigerians that the choice of its presidential running mate will be made within the context of the best democratic ideas, just like that of its presidential candidate. In a statement issued in Lagos on Sunday by its National Publicity Secretary, Lai Mohammed, the party urged Nigerians to ignore the widespread and misleading reports in the traditional and social media about the choice of the APC presidential running mate, saying the party has not had a meeting, not to talk of picking a running mate. It described the reports that a running mate has been picked to run with its presidential candidate Muhammadu Buhari as unnecessarily sensational, downright speculative and totally misleading. The party said every one of the candidates who have been speculated as a running mate to Buhari is unquestionably competent to be a vice president or even president of Nigeria, but added that no choice has been made yet by the party. The party also expressed its appreciation at the feedback its presidential primaries has brought to it from Nigerians, assuring that it will also be guided by the same principles in subsequent decisions. Meanwhile, the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Muhammadu Buhari, has held a closed-door meeting with former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. The two men, who jostled for APC's presidential ticket last week, met at Atiku's residence in Abuja. Details of the meeting were not made public, but there are indications that Buhari is keen on ensuring a united party during the run-up to the 2015 presidential elections. Both men also exchanged thoughts on the party's vice presidential slot. With the emergence of the presidential candidates of both major parties for the 2015 general elections, the APC in Ondo State and the Ondo State chapter of the Buhari Campaign Organization say the party will defeat the incumbent in Ondo State. The APC and the Buhari Campaign Organization say the rising profile of the Katsina-bound retired general before and after his choice as APC's presidential flag bearer shows that it would be a landslide victory for him in the state. This assertion was made in a congratulatory message to the APC candidate jointly signed by the APC's publicity secretary, Omoba Adesoya. and Ifeoluwa Oyedele of the Buhari Campaign Organization. They also say the 2015 elections provide Nigeria, and indeed Nigerians, a clear-cut opportunity to change a bad and dysfunctional government to an efficient one. The emergence of two separate candidates for the Bayelsa West Senatorial District laying claim to the PDP ticket for next year's general elections has created cracks within the party in the state. Heineken Okpobori and Foster Ogola are both laying claim to the ticket, with various groups within the party taking sides with the aspirants. Leading members of the party in the state are said to be worried at a situation with both sides also laying claim to be the candidate elected by the real delegates of the party for the primaries which were held separately. Though members of the party in the state are looking to the national headquarters to address the situation, a leading social political group in the state, Bayelsa Youth for National Interest, has however called for the cancellation of the primaries, describing them as unacceptable. Now, the protest which greeted the emergence of Simeon Ajibola as the flag bearer of the PDP for Kwara State governorship election seems to have spurred the candidate into action. He described the protest against him as nothing but the handiwork of enemies. Rashid has more on the controversy now surrounding his emergence in this report.
The contest for the PDP's governorship ticket in Kwara State no doubt led to a totally unexpected result, with the emergence of Simeon Ajibola ahead other highly favored candidates such as Delibel Gore and Bemi Saraki. But barely 48 hours after the emergence of Ajibola, protest from some party faithfuls against his candidature has started, with the protesters expressing sadness over his emergence. Protest leader Sheyi Martins expressed disappointment over the primaries, which he described as a grand manipulation of delegates for Ajibola, who according to him is not a popular candidate.
Kwarans are saying no to the party, to the person that emerged as a candidate of the Kwara PDP in the forthcoming gubernatorial election. This is a very, very unpopular candidate. Even in his ward, they don't know him. He cannot win his polling units. In the last election, we understand how he manipulated the election to win. To be in the Senate today, since the past 12 years, he has been in that Senate house. What has he done?
In his own submission, Abdullahi Abdullatif requested the national leadership to conduct another primaries because Ajibola is nothing but a stooge of the opposition, or in the alternative for him to relinquish the ticket for a better and well-known candidate.
That we are calling on the national PDP, national headquarters, to null and cancel this particular election, because it is kangaroo election, because the original delegates are being disallowed because they intimidated them with their talks and everything, political talks. So we please want the national headquarters of PDP to cancel this particular primaries and organize another free and fair election to allow the popular candidate to emerge and deliver quota for PDP. That is it.
But in a swift response, the candidate Simeon Ajibola says the protest is an afterthought and one orchestrated by enemies from a transparent, free and fair process with a popular mandate.
Well, it was a very, it was conducted under a very level playing ground, free of any attempt to rig, and transparent.
So what does it portend for PDP?
Well, it's going to unite PDP, because everybody was given the opportunity to express their desire, and this was democratically decided under a free, fair, and credible primary.
With this apparent show of disunity within the PDP, the road to 2015 and efforts aimed at displacing the APC in the state may just have been made a little more difficult. Rashid for TV News, Ilorin.
Now, yesterday, chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Akin Oke, says he's disappointed at the former governor of the state, Adebayo Alao Akala, for his decision to defect from the People's Democratic Party to the Labour Party instead of the APC. Alawa Akala had joined the Labour Party on the day the PDP held its governorship primary election in Ibadan, the state capital, in protest against the outcome of the exercise. He says Alawa Akala is a political heavyweight in the state, but that though the APC may not have given him the governorship ticket, he would have gotten a senatorial ticket and with bright chances of success at the polls. Okay added that most ex-governors with 8-year tenures ended up in the Senate. He said the APC would have given him the chance to achieve that quite easily. He also says the former governor will regret his decision to go to the Labour Party due to the cost of his campaigns and the fact that his chances of winning is very slim, wondering who could have given him such a wrong advice. And as the general elections gradually approach and the gale of defection over party tickets hits political parties, the All Progressives Grand Alliance has compelled members of the ruling People's Democratic Party who defected to the party in Bayelsa State to sign an undertaking before they would be given the party's tickets. Scores of the aggrieved members of the PDP who had on Tuesday shunned the Reconciliation Committee headed by King Amalate Turner and have picked the tickets of APGA to fly the flag of the party to contest the 2015 elections. The PDP members, such as a former president of the Joy Youth Congress, John Oyefa, and a former commissioner in Bayelsa State, Zuwa Kuduga, picked the tickets to represent the various constituencies at the next general election in the state on the platform of APGA. However, it was learnt that APGA accepted the defecting PDP members on the condition that they would sign an undertaking promising that they would not abandon the party when elected into the state and national assemblies in 2015, a development confirmed by John Sokare, the state chairman of the party. The APGA state chairman also dismissed the claim that the mass defection into the party by PDP members was influenced by the wife of President Goodluck Jonathan. The All Progressives Congress in Ekiti State has criticized Governor Ayodele Fayose and his aides for condemning former President Olusegun Obasanjo on behalf of the people of the state. The party, in a statement signed by its publicity secretary, Taiwo Olatubosu, says the recent verbal offensive launched against the former president is in the individual capacity of those involved or on behalf of their party and not on behalf of the people of Ekiti as claimed. According to him, Fayose is not qualified to speak on behalf of Ekiti people in a clearly political disagreement between PDP gladiators. He maintained that Ajayi, who criticized Obasanjo on behalf of the state for not obeying a court order, was not known to law as the Attorney General of the state because it was not screened and confirmed by a properly constituted House of Assembly. You're watching CoreTV Primetime News. We'll take a break and I'll be back with more stories. Don't go away.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digi 360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
Welcome back. A quick reminder of our top stories on the CoreTV Primetime News. The All Progressives Congress says it has not met to pick a running mate for its presidential flag bearer, Muhammadu Buhari. And the Ekiti State chapter of the APC says the recent verbal attacks on former President Obasanjo by Governor Ayodele Fayose and his aides is personal and has nothing to do with the state. Kwara PDP governorship candidate Simeon Ajibola describes protesters against his candidature as enemies of his party. Outside Nigeria, delegates reach agreement on a framework for a deal on limiting the effects of climate change at conference in Peru. You can get all of our top stories on any of our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/CoreTV News. Our Twitter handle is at CoreTV News NJ. We also stream it live on YouTube. It's youtube.com/CoreTV. Leave a space and news. Ibadan, the Oyo state capital, has once again recorded another incident of violence, which is the latest in the recent spate of violence that has re-emerged since the lifting of ban on political campaigning activities by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Now, the latest, which occurred at the popular Agbeni market in the heart of the city, started during a carnival party, and 2 lives are reported to have been lost as a result of the violent clash between the 2 rival groups who were said to have been well armed in their reign of terror. CoreTV News monitor the situation. The report is presented from our studios.
These are indeed dangerous signals for the city of Ibadan and Oyo State as the general elections gradually draws near, with a steady stream of violent clashes giving rise to fears of a return to the bad old days of violence in the state. The latest and growing list of such is the midnight clash between 2 rival groups of hoodlums who engaged themselves in a free-for-all that allegedly led to the loss of 2 lives, but not without leaving innocent residents and shop owners within the battleground. The popular Agbaje market in the Agbeni area of the city, counting the cost the morning after.
I'm at home, something between 12 o'clock and 1 o'clock. People starting calling me, say that Agbeni have been bloody. They have been making riots at Agbeni. I didn't know what caused the problem. So the moment I come Agbeni this morning, I see that they have already vandalized all the shop.
They call them Omata. They just started the thing without point. That they do this thing without point. It's already the shop, get the collateral, gun, bottle, and they did everything. And they causing shout to everybody. That make people panic.
The government should rise up to this. They should mount up security both day and night. Not only in the night, but day and night. Because this started before 10 p.m. yesterday, and they fought till daybreak, breaking shops. You will see a lot of shops broken there. We have bought padlocks, we have done a lot of things. We see a lot of policemen were there this morning. But what of in the night? What of yesterday night? What of in the dead of the night? They were not there.
Despite the heavy presence of the security men in strategic places around the market, the tension in the area was pervasive as the traders resorted to prayers to ask for God's assistance for what they see as a helpless situation, even as they could not display their wares. For caretaker boss of Ibadan Northwest Local Government, under whose jurisdiction the market falls, Wasiu Olatubosu, blames the opposition for the spike in violence, while also reiterating government's resolve to resist a return to violence of the past in the state.
It shows that why didn't they do it 2-3 years ago? Why 2 months to election? And I've been saying it long time ago that people are planning to wreak havoc in Oyo State in order to rubbish peaceful atmosphere that Oyo State people have been enjoying for the past 3.5 years. Their plan is to rubbish one of the most effective cardinal achievements of Senator Zach Abela Jimabi, and that is peace.
The State Police Command, however, says they have prepared a backup plan to address the security challenges currently affecting the state, while also working to unmask the mastermind of the latest orgy of mindless violence.
Meanwhile, efforts aimed at securing the lives and property of residents of Ibadan and Oyo State people has gathered momentum with a stakeholders meeting between the police and leaders of those in the state to brainstorm on ways to prevent political violence before, during and after the 2015 general elections. Oyo State Commissioner of Police Kola Shodipo and the chairman of the Nigerian Bar Association, Ibadan Chapter Kazim Badamosi, both say it is very important that all hands be on deck and that mutual cooperation between the securities agencies and the people be intact.
You will understand, you know, you will expect problems. And I told our leaders they should try as humanly possible to fill that area. And then, when you are arrested, it's important you are arrested. It's very belief the young people around that place. Other security agencies that are empowered to carry out, they are the only ones that are supposed to hold guns at our hands. Any other person is not entitled to any personal or private security the way we do it. They are still saddled with the responsibility of maintaining peace and order in all our lands, that is the police and security agencies. This country, my prayer is that we will not tip, but the coming election will be a turning point in the life of every one of us. We will still remain one indivisible Nigeria.
And now to the Federal Capital Territory, where the Minister Bala Mohammed has directed security agencies to rid Abuja metropolis of all illegal motor parks. The minister gave this directive at the weekend against the backdrop of traffic bottlenecks around some roundabouts and interchanges across the FCT at peak hours. A statement from the minister's office indicates that security agencies and traffic officers are to focus attention on Bega Junction, Nikon Junction, Area 1, Garki, OYA, Asokoro District, Area 3, Garki District, Federal Secretariat, and the Wuse District access. The FCT minister also directed that illegal bus stops at the Wuse Market, Wuse Bridge, and Galadimawa and Ego Square must be cleared to improve free flow of human and vehicular movement, as well as safeguard the locations from hoodlums. Meanwhile, 16 people have been jailed for 2 weeks in Abuja for breaching the ban on commercial motorcycle in the city center. The FCT authorities say 9 were discharged and acquitted by a mobile court where they had been standing trial. They also revealed that 3,241 commercial motorcycles were seized between January and November 17 this year. Several persons were feared dead and many others injured on Saturday night in an explosion at a gas station along Arakale Road in Akure. Eyewitnesses say the fire started at about 7 p.m. during the sale of gas within the station, which is located a few meters away from the branch of a bank and a church. There was chaos and confusion as residents ran full cover.
I see some people, they shout, say fire, 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 fire. By the time I look out, I see the fire, it don't raise up. We don't have government. What happened for this? They say na gas, it dey cause all this fire. They say na gas, they cause all this fire. And I say that we don't have a firefight. They say we don't have firefight. Because of what? Firefight is there, everything is there. But what is the reason why firefight don't come for this place?
Ojú mi nínú ti ṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀. Tá bá wo ọwọ́ mi báyìí, àwa la bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní kó kíni ẹ̀já láti bẹ̀rẹ̀. But kí ni ìdí tó ń pẹ́ a fi pè látàárọ̀ yìí pé a fẹ́ rí panápaná tá ò rí panápaná láti fi síbí yìí. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí state of capital, ó yẹ kó yọjú sí wa before 10 minutes. Ó yẹ kó ti yọjú sí wa bíbí. Kó ló di pé ọ̀rọ̀ náà á ju eléyìí lọ. Ó yẹ ká ti rí wọn. Nǹkan a lè sọ pé nǹkan pàtó báyìí ló fa iná yẹn. But iná yẹn bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní ojú mi.
Stigmatization by people against those living with HIV/AIDS once again came into the front burner as the Osun State Action Committee on AIDS holds a sensitization seminar with calls for a jail term for discrimination against those living with the disease. Rashid has more in this report.
With the Ebola virus being the major concern of health institutions worldwide, it's simple to assume that it has taken the place once occupied by HIV/AIDS, but this does not obviously eliminate the disease as a major health concern, prompting the Osun State Action Committee on AIDS to make curbing stigmatization its focal point in the fight against the disease in the state.
We have stigmatization because people believe it is deadly and they think that they can easily contact it. Once they know that it's not something that can easily be contacted, even sleeping with somebody with HIV, protected sex, one cannot be contacted.
According to this resource person, Olalikon Wasiu, he advised people living with HIV/AIDS need to shrug off the stigma as there are laws that protect them from stigmatization and anyone found guilty of discriminating will be dealt with under the law.
If you are somebody with HIV positive, if you find yourself in that realm, being denied employment, go to all these public complaint commission and so on and so forth. Go and complain. Then the anti-discriminatory law will now come in.
Resource persons, while praising media organizations for their positive role in combating HIV/AIDS in the country, however, charged them to do more awareness against stigmatization and discrimination.
Even in the university system, in the labor, everywhere discrimination is there. And how do we arrest this? By spreading the awareness among employer of labor, university, the media, even the healthcare workers.
The media is trying, actually, for advocacy. But one thing we need to emphasize is that HIV/AIDS is not a deadly disease.
The awareness program, which featured free HIV test and counseling, is a platform to correct the notion of the public and their perceptions about what HIV/AIDS is and what it's not. Rashid, CoreTV News, Oshogbo.
Aimed at raising the standard of education in the country and also to boost performance of students in the major external examinations of West African Examination Council, WAEC, and the National Examinations Council, NECO, the federal government says it would boost the Inspectorate Division of the Ministry of Education. Education Minister Ibrahim Shekarau, who discussed this at the 50th anniversary and 22nd convocation ceremony of the Federal Polytechnic Auchi, Edo State, says the measure would enable the government to monitor the quality of teaching and infrastructure available in secondary schools in the country. He explained further that government was working out plans for the regular training and retraining of teachers through various short-term workshops, courses, and seminars. While lauding the achievements of the management of the Polytechnic, he stressed the need for more tertiary institutions to integrate entrepreneurial studies into their academic programs. Earlier, the rector, Dr. Philippa Idoho, explained that a total of 3,748 students graduated from with higher national diploma, while 4,987 graduates were awarded with national diploma. Aside from the number of lives that are lost daily as a result of driving against traffic, the damaging effect it leaves is better imagined. Amotayo Alo visited the notorious Ojore tollgate in Ogun State and brought back this report on efforts aimed at curbing the menace of wrong-way driving.
The Ojore tollgate road is notorious for traffic gridlock and a popular spot where wrong-way drivers are regularly caught. CoreTV News crew visited the trace office at the tollgate where the officer in charge of the corps, Adekunle Ajibade, says road mishaps are primarily caused by impatience on the part of motorists.
They are lawless. They want to beat the time while they leave their main home very late. That's the truth of the matter. Yes. Not really the road. Not really the road. Of course, that could be part of, but you know, that factor is infinitesimal. It's a very small among
This allegation, according to the tricycle riders, was wrong, saying the government has failed in its duty of maintaining the roads.
The bad road that we have for on the way,
because there is a lot of hold up on the way. That is why some used to take one way.
Ogun State, we don't have traffic light there, and anybody is free to disobey. Even why the problem is that even the government they are disobeying the traffic law, because when traffic day now, you see some police or some last man whatever or trace, instead of trying to follow that normal way to make people to understand that following one way is bad, but then we still follow one way. For that reason, everybody will join them, because they are showing us, instead of not to show us the good way, they are showing us the narrow way. That's the way they follow that way, we will join them.
Traffic of in one way cannot stop until they do the overhead bridge. If you reach Oritore now, you will be very terrible. Everything is very blocked.
Though, according to the commander of Trace, commercial drivers form a higher percentage of traffic offenders than private owners. But Stephen Ashojo, in his private car, says it passes through hell on the road.
The main cause of one-way issue is just because of the bad road. When you get to that side at Ojure, you see there is a lot of flood on the road. And that is why majority of people always take one way to avert themselves from that flood.
The commander of Trace, Adekunle Ajibade, says the Corps has gone into partnership with agencies to reduce the rates of road offences to the BRS minimum through sensitization.
We have a group of our people that moves from one garage to other every day to sensitize them, to show them videos, to show them pictures, and not only garages and park too. We go to primary school, we go to secondary school.
Clearly not happy with the Ogun State government on the state of the road, this motorist has this advice for all the road users.
Despite the fact that the government are not doing their responsibility, people should avoid one way. That's the way I see it. People should also definitely, if you are in a go slow for hours, you will definitely get to your destination at the end of the day, instead of taking 5 minutes risk and go to heaven.
Despite series of disciplinary measures put in place to discourage traffic offences and bad road using habit, some are still in the act of breaking traffic laws. Omotayualo, CoreTV News, Ogun.
President Goodluck Jonathan will on Monday host the 46th ordinary session of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government in Abuja. The West African leaders will, among other things, deliberate on the current political and security situation in the sub-region. President Jonathan and other participating heads of state and government will also be briefed on recent developments in Burkina Faso and review the report of the 33rd meeting of the ECOWAS Mediation and Security Council. Also on the agenda of the summit are the consideration and adoption of the 2014 annual report of the President of the ECOWAS Commission, the consideration and adoption of the report of the 73rd Ordinary Session of the ECOWAS Council of Ministers, and the election of the Chairman of the ECOWAS Authority of Head of States and Government for next year. Some of the participating heads of state and government have already arrived in Abuja ahead of the opening of the summit. You're on to CoreTV Primetime News. We'll take a break and we'll be back with business, sports, and some stories outside Nigeria. Don't go away.
From time immemorial, women have birthed life, shaped character, and by extension, influenced the society. Moremi of Ife, Emoten of Benin, Queen Aminat of Zaria, all women of influence and power.
Whether it's before election, after election.
How ironical. Women being so powerful, yet have few grounds in decision making.
They see you as a wife, and I see you as a wife to a man.
We are talking women in politics.
A woman will be bold enough to stand up and say, I want to become president of Nigeria.
Only on CoreTV News.
Welcome back. On Business Tonight, a non-profit organization, Pan-Africa Association of Online Technology Publishers, PATEC, urges Nigeria to take advantage of the online technology community to create wealth and business opportunities for the Nigerian populace. Speaking to CoreTV News at a forum in Lagos, Patutome says the opportunity will open doors for the average Nigerian by creating wealth and incentives that will be more useful for the world.
Anything that doesn't have boundaries loses value.
That's why we have institutions. Institutions set boundaries. Actually, to promote the fact of the benefits. You know, there's a whole generation of Nigerians with talent that's not optimizing on its talent base because it doesn't have the most up-to-date, most robust information that could help it create value, create wealth. And if people get to know that there's a whole territory of opportunity, then they will key in and come because people are always looking for opportunity. But the average man will always benefit because it empowers. Let's think of communication. Look, today you can run a multinational company from your bedroom. I think it's mainly a simple initiative to bring together people involved in online publishing, beginning with technology, so that codes of conduct will be developed, capabilities will be honed, and it can be more useful to the world.
For his part, the vice president of the association, Emeka Agbata, says Africans need to tell their own story by developing their own market in information sharing, broadcasting,
Africa's story the way they ought to, then we can take our tech industry to the next level. So, for example, the venture capitalist money going on in Nigeria, over $200 million already invested. Little or nothing is African capital. More of it is actually foreign, Europe and America. That's sad, and it's sad because these guys are taking position into the future. And so if we understand this as online publishers and we begin to talk about this, it can get some of our old money bags who have money actually to invest in this space, to understand the technology cycle, and at least make some investment. So I believe that if we get people of similar interest in the online publishing world to talk about this and talk about it consistently, it will certainly bring about a change. So that's one major way that I see a change. Another way, it's about collaboration. Collaboration and also information sharing. So members can actually begin to help themselves individually. So we believe it's all about information sharing. And then the third most important one is the fact that we'll start working on homegrown events. A lot of the events that you see sometimes are actually foreign owned. We need to tell our stories as Africans the African way.
The Nigerian Stock Exchange on Saturday vowed to arrest any form of manipulation from all quarters of its operation to protect investors' investment. CEO of the exchange, Oscar Oyema, said the exchange would maintain zero tolerance for unhealthy practices and deploy requisite technology and expertise to ensure safety of investment. The NSE had signed a memorandum of understanding with the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to increase cooperation and communication in the fight against financial crimes in the capital market. The agreement would strengthen partnerships and information sharing between the EFCC and the NSE. He urged all stockbrokers to abide by the Chartered Institute of Stockbrokers Ethical Standards and the NSE Code of Conduct. The Corporate Governance Rating System, recently launched by the NSE and the Convention on Business Integrity, would strengthen corporate governance. And out to sports tonight, 800 meters Olympic champion David Rudisha had issued a warning to Kenya athletes to resist the temptation of doping, describing it as a move that will put the country's reputation at risk. Rudisha, who spoke against the background of doping allegations against several Kenya athletes at recent case involving marathoner Rita Jepto, urges Kenya athletes to resist the temptation.
It's hard because Kenyan is not for its good reputation in athletics, and we have been having good athletes who have been doing tremendously in the world stage without engaging themselves in this drug. We encourage people to work hard so that they can achieve what their gift or what they are gifted for, not to cut shortcut, because this is really bad, not only in our country, Kenya, but it's also ruining the whole image of our sport.
Football, a performance of ruthless finishing by Manchester United has increased the pressure on Liverpool manager Brendan Rodgers as they capitalized on some poor defending to run out comfortable 3-0 victors at Old Trafford. Brendan Rodgers, who had dropped struggling goalkeeper Simon Maglot for Brad Jones, can point to a succession of brilliant saves from United's David De Gea and a controversial second goal from Juan Mata as significant factors in the defeat. But this, however, will do little to ease the growing concerns for Rodgers and Liverpool with the memory of their thrilling 3-0 win here in March in a sequence that almost took them to their fourth title in 24 years, seeming an age away. United captain Wayne Rooney gave them an early lead, and Liverpool had every right to feel aggrieved when Mata headed in from a clearly offside position to take the game away from them just before halftime. Even before United took the lead, De Gea made an important save from Raheem Sterling, denying the England youngster on 4 occasions, as well as producing 3 vital contributions to stop Liverpool substitute Mario Balotelli getting his first Premier League goal for the club. Robin van Persie's thought for United at the end of a lightning counter-attack only added to Liverpool's pain and gave the scoreline a lopsided look given the amount of work done by De Gea. Now, United's 6th successive league win continued the resurgence under manager Louis van Gaal, while putting Liverpool's decline since they came so close to winning the Premier League into even sharper relief as they now trail 3rd place United by 10 points. Looks like some good news for the United fans there. We'll take a short break now and I'll be back with more stories outside Nigeria. Don't go away.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Thanks for joining us again. 2 days after a stark warning issued by United States Secretary of State John Kerry over the danger inherent in failure to reach an agreement on the climate change deal at a conference in Lima, the Peruvian capital, United Nations members have now reached an agreement on how countries should tackle climate change. Delegates at the Lima summit have approved a framework for certain national pledges to be submitted to a summit next year. The summit, which was initially scheduled to end on Friday, was extended by 2 days as a result of differences which have now been ironed out to produce a deal described by environmental groups and have criticized the deal as a weak and ineffectual compromise. Environmentalists also say the talks proved difficult because of divisions between rich and poor countries over how to spread the burden of pledges to cut carbon emissions, and has only produced a deal which weakens all international environmental rules. In his reaction, Peru's Environment Minister Manuel Pulgar Vida, who chaired the talks, says the text is not perfect, but is one that includes the position of all parties. Japan's ruling coalition has won a new 2/3 majority in parliamentary elections, seen as a referendum on Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's economic policy. Japanese media reported that Abe's Liberal Democratic Party, the LDP, retained its House of Representatives majority. LDP will govern with the Buddhist-backed Komeito Party after the parties won 325 seats out of 475. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe called the snap vote to secure support for his Abenomics, what it calls as economics reforms. The main opposition party, the Democratic Party of Japan, won 73 seats, an increase of 11, NHK said. And just before we go tonight, another look at our top stars. Reported that the All Progressives Congress says it has not met to pick a running mate for its presidential flag bearer. Muhammadu Buhari. And the Ekiti State chapter of the party has said the recent verbal attack on former President Obasanjo by Governor Ayodele Fayose and his aide is personal and has nothing to do with the state. Kwara PDP governorship candidate Simeon Jibola has described protesters against his candidature as enemies of his party. Outside Nigeria, delegates have reached agreement on a framework for a deal on limiting the effects of climate change at a conference in Peru. And that's been the show tonight. I am Nifemi Ogutoye.